David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with a non-bearded fountain pen review. Yes, I decided to shave this week. I am still working from home, but it was time. The beard was getting a bit unruly. Plus, it was predominantly gray. I think I look a lot younger without it. Who knows, in the winter it might make a return, but I felt like getting back to normal. Today, I have for you something new and unique. It is a limited edition offering from Montegrappa called the MG5 Vetrate. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the MG5, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide the writing sample. The MG5 is an exclusive offering for the retailer Chatterley Luxuries, and thanks go out to the good folks at Chatterley for providing these pens on loan for review. Chatterley Luxuries is based out of Tucson, Arizona, and was founded by Bryant Greer back in 2005. He gave the company the name Chatterley because it is Bryant's middle name. Chatterley Luxury mainly focuses on high-end pens and is a great place to get limited editions, new old stock, and other hard-to-find models. If you are into fountain pen eye candy, then their website is definitely one I would recommend checking out. While this is the first time I have worked with them in regard to a review, I have been a customer for many years. During the size comparisons, I'll show you some of the pens that I have purchased from them. I feel it's a good cross-section of their overall offerings. The pen I have for you today is a collaboration between Chatterley Luxuries and Montegrappa, and that is the MG5. It arrives in this box. It has an engraved plate on top and is embossed throughout with the somewhat modernized Montegrappa logo. Inside, we have a use and care guide that kind of matches the color of the box, which is nice. And then we have the pen. This is the Montegrappa MG5 Vetrate. Montegrappa has been in the business of making pens for over 100 years. Over that time, besides making pens under their own brand, they've produced pens for other brands as well. One of those brands was Michel Perchon, which is no longer in business. Their pens were mainly inspired by Fabergé eggs. The company had commissioned Montegrappa to make a model for them called the MP5, with the MP standing for Michel Perchon. You can still find some of those out there on the market. They retail for around $1,500. Recently, it was discovered Montegrappa still had some of the barrel material for these pens, and that's when they decided to partner with Chatterley Luxuries to create this new model, the MG5, with the MG standing for Montegrappa. Though, since this partnership was, for this limited edition run, was with Chatterley Luxuries, maybe they should have named it MC5 for Montegrappa Chatterley. Now, this pen is available in 3 different colors. There is an indigo bunting blue, cardinal red, and canary yellow. These are limited editions. There will be 28 available for each of the blue and red models, and 18 of this yellow. The trim on all of these pens is completely sterling silver, but the highlight for me is the barrel. The barrel is enamel sculpted with a guilloche pattern. I really like the wave patterns in this material. The blue and red have the same pattern, but I felt the detail and shading on this yellow model really showed off a bit better on camera. I'll show you what the blue and red models look like during the size comparisons in the writing sample, but I think this close-up of this yellow just looks amazing. Let's take a look at the cap. On the top is the modern Montegrappa logo in raised relief, and then we have this unique clip, which I like a lot. It's sterling silver with some ornate scroll work. I really care for the design of this clip a great deal. I enjoy the detail which is obtained during a lost wax casting process. The clip is not hinged, but it is flexible enough to work with materials of varying thickness. The barrel is a polished black resin and is straight, and compared to the rest of the pen, the cap material is a bit low-key. The base of the cap has a silver band. On one side, it says Montegrappa, and on the other side, it says Made in Italy, as well as having the sterling silver maker's marks. There is a medium-sized step down to the barrel. The barrel does taper down just a little bit, about 1 millimeter from beginning to end. At the end, there is another silver band and then a resin piston knob. and on the very end of the barrel is the number of the pen. The cap twists off with 1 1/4 turn, and underneath we have a Montegrappa 14 karat gold nib. I've always liked the hexagonal design on the Montegrappa nibs. I feel it looks pretty sharp. This nib is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, a stub, and then there are extra fine flex and fine flex options as well. And here's a look at the plastic feed. I really like the section of this pen. It begins with a slight flare and is silver, but what I really care for are the grooves. It prevents this metal section from being slippery, and having the bottoms of the groove treated with a black lacquer makes for a pleasing aesthetic. The section angles up slightly and transitions to the resin cap threads and a small step up to the barrel. While this pen is rather hefty, I find it to be very comfortable and well balanced in the hand. It is plenty long enough to use unposted. The cap does post, and it does post securely, but with all of the silver in this cap, it does have a bit of heft to it, so using this pen posted, in my opinion, backweights it and throws off the balance a little bit. So I find it more comfortable to use this pen unposted. I mentioned the piston knob earlier. This is a piston filler. Montegrappa's ratcheting piston mechanism is very smooth and very satisfying to use. I just like hearing the ratcheting noise. I've experienced some piston knobs on high-end pens that feel a bit flimsy. They feel like if you mistakenly twisted them too hard or too far that you could potentially cause damage to the pen. Now, I've never had one break on me, but they just feel like they could, if you know what I mean. The piston on the MG5 is very sturdy. It feels extremely well constructed. You don't feel like you need to baby it at all when inking up this pen. I mentioned it previously, but this pen is exclusive to Chatterley Luxuries, and on their site it retails for $995. They do have a deal where if you have purchased exclusive pens from Chatterley previously, they offer a special price for what they call their Founders Club. There is information as to how to receive that discount and if you qualify for it on the product page for this pen and on their site, which I will put a link to in the notes below. At just under $1,000, this is not an inexpensive pen, but I do feel it is very high quality. It feels very substantive and solid in the hand. I really like the silver trim. I think the clip is unique, and I think the section design really works for me as well. I also think the barrel material looks really sharp. Now, I was trying to think of ways to spruce up the cap a little bit. Maybe something could be done here to maybe mirror the engraved lines on the section, but even without that, I feel that this pen is appropriately priced for what you receive. If you are in the market for a unique high-end pen, then the Montegrappa MG5 is worthy of your consideration. Thanks again. Go out to Chatterley Luxuries for the loan of these pens for review. Now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we have the Montegrappa MG5 Vetrate. This one is the Canary Yellow, and I showed in the pictures, but I just really love this material. I think it just has a life and vibrancy to it. As you spin it around, I just love the movement that it has. And then the other two pens here, this one is in the Cardinal Red. And you can see it has the same pattern, but just with being a little bit darker in the red, it doesn't quite has the same vibrancy. It's a little bit more subdued, but I still like it a great deal. And then finally, here is the Indigo Blue. Again, the same pattern, and I really like this color as well. I think all three of these are very, very sharp. Now, I wanted to show the MG5 in comparison to some of the other pens that I've actually purchased from Chatterley Luxuries, and they're some of my favorite in my collection. This is an Omos Ogiva Cocktail Blue Angel, which I very much enjoy. This one here is a Visconti Desert Springs, and this is the Opera model. This is actually an anniversary edition. This one is one of 15, so there's 15 of these. And then here's another Visconti, which is the Visconti Wall Street. In regard to some other pens I've picked up from Chatterley Luxuries, this is a Opera Crystal Midnight. Then this is a Danny Trio. This is the Genkai. And then finally, one of my favorite pens I've picked up from them, something really unique that I enjoy, is this Visconti Homo Sapiens. And I've shown this many times, but this is the sterling silver model, which is no longer made. And what's unique about this model is it has two sets of bands. It was one that was made as part of a pen, and it was a ballpoint and a fountain pen set. And a while back, Chatterley had these available for sale. And it's something I very much enjoy. For the writing sample, I'm actually going to use the Indigo model. So here we have the Montegrappa MG5 Vetrate, and this is a medium 18 karat gold nib. And the ink that I'm using today is Pilot Iroshizuku, and this is Kujaku. This is what the ink looks like. It's a really nice blue-green, and this is what it looks like in comparison to the Ferris wheel press Bluegrass Velvet that I reviewed here not that long ago, as well as Monteverde's Ice Cookie, which is a little more blue than green. These are what the bottles look like. The Pilot bottles are some of my favorite. I just love these bottles. I think they look really, really cool. I love the teardrop here at the bottom as well. Okay, on to the rest of the writing sample. I really enjoy this 18 karat gold nib. It is fairly smooth. It's very enjoyable to use. You can get a little bit of line variation out of here. In regard to ink flow, I haven't had any issues. I think it's a decent ink flow that comes out of here. In regard to reverse writing, it's very smooth. And lays down a nice extra fine line. And in regard to some fast writing, there's no issues whatsoever. So here we have the Montegrappa MG5 Vetrate. I think it is a very unique offering and a very interesting pen. I really care for a lot of the unique features on here. And you can take a look at it on the Chatterley Luxury site in the links in the note below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.